Hey YouTube, what's happening? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update on Litecoin. We're at $97.62 right now. We're down 2.85%. What I'm going to do today, I basically laid out so people can understand a little bit better what we're looking at. Remember, we've talked about putting the odds in our favor the best that we can. So what I have off to the right here, I have 4 indicators that we're going to go through, and we're going to look at each one. And what I've done is basically put bullish or bearish or neutral so we can kind of play off those things, guys, and then develop a plan, because like I said, we always want to have a plan to the upside as well as the downside. This is the most volatile market in the world. Like I've talked about with you guys, it's something that you have to be prepared for. Like, this isn't a space to really not use stop losses unless you're a long-term investor. If you're trading this, guys, you got to be very careful. Use those stop losses and really stick to that. Don't be afraid to take small losses if it means it's going to save you a lot of money down the road. And also, guys, don't be afraid to let those moves continue to run and use those trailing stop losses all the way up. So that's probably the best way that you can do that. And if you guys haven't looked into stop losses, all that, there's tons of videos out there people have done on stop losses or trailing stop losses. I'd like to do one at some point here when the market slows down a little bit, but there's a lot of important things to go over today that we're going to dig into. Okay, so if you like these videos, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Appreciate you all being here with me, and also put down in the comments if you like that I put off to the right there what indicators I'm using, and if I'm seeing them as bullish or bearish, if you guys like that, to be able to have that, or if you just like when I talk about them and just move on from there. So let me know down low. I appreciate you guys doing that, and also let me know how the mic quality is for you. If it's been okay on like smartphones and things like that, I want to know. All right, so guys, what we're looking at here, first, we're going to dig into the AO, then we're going to go into the Stochastic RSI, then the RSI, and then the MACD. So those are going to be the 4 indicators that we really look at today. But first of all, I want to mention we're still trading below our 20 EMA, our 50 moving average, and our 100-day moving average. Remember, those are acting as overhead resistance. Right here, you can see how we've wicked up several times now trying to get back up above that 100-day moving average, and we haven't been able to do it yet. Right here, we wicked up above it, and we closed down below it. Here, guys, we closed down below it, and that was about at 98.56, and then we had almost like a shooting star candle here where we tried to push up through the 100 as well as the 20-day EMA, but we could not close up above it. And now today we're trapped between this red trend line and this 100-day moving average, and you can see this red trend line dates back pretty far here. The first point for it goes back to February 7th. So I'm glad we're back up in that, but now we're getting wedged between these two areas. And what that typically means is as the candles get smaller, we're eventually going to see that break to the upside here, trying to break out of this white downtrend that we've been in. You see this white downtrend line, guys? What we've been doing is putting in lower highs right here and lower lows. So lower, basically right here, lower low, lower high. Then we came back down, guys, lower low, lower high, lower low. We bounced back up a little bit here, lower high, lower low, lower high. So we're going to have to see now if we can finally get up and through this white trend line. That's going to be very important. We also don't want to start trading much below this red trend line because it has been established, guys. It's been very strong. You can see in this area here we had a bullish engulfing candle off this red trend line and a nice break from this teal trend line here, and that led to about 100% gains there. For people who haven't watched these videos, we've been talking a lot about that because trend line breaks in this space are extremely important. So what we were looking at next, we fell through this red trend line here, guys. We tweezer bottom down here and we had to pull back onto it. So now we have to look to see if we stay in this red trend line or if we're going to start falling back down, because sometimes you can have those trend line breaks just like we had on this green one. We had a break, we fell down to the 50 moving average, we bounced back up inside it just like we are right now, and then we continue to just fall to the downside. So that is a possibility that I want you guys to pay attention to right now. Okay, I'm not saying that's going to happen by any means, but I'm just telling you to be prepared for that and be ready if that is the case. So that's why it's so important to watch this red trend line here. Okay, so we're watching that, we're watching this white trend line, and we're also watching this 200-day moving average to continue to act as support. But the main thing we want to see hold is that 200-day moving average and this yellow trend line. That's what's going to be the most important. But I do like that we had the tweezer bottoms here to try to reverse this trend here on good volume. So that is significant. That volume's been better here. You can obviously see back through the bear market here, look how low all this volume was. So it's nice to see the volume picking back up. We do want to see that as we continue to move to the upside here. We want those higher highs and higher lows on the macro trend. Just like we are in a micro downtrend here, we're in a short-term downtrend right now that we're going to try to break out of, and watch those trend line breaks. If we can get out of that, guys, it could be pretty significant there. So now we're going to go into the indicators that I wanted to show you all. And first of all, I don't know if you've used this one before. We're going to go into the AO, the Awesome Oscillator, and this is a really good one for the cryptocurrency space. So right now it's like a histogram type deal, almost kind of like the MACD, and what you can see here is this is our negative, so we were down in the negative here. Now you're starting to see that reversal on the histogram where we're starting to head back up. So we want to continue to see that move to the upside there. That's going to be important. So I put that as a little bit more bullish right now. We're still in that negative territory at the bottom, but you can see how we're starting to round out, and these bars, these histogram bars, are getting smaller. So we are starting to head to the upside there. So that one I would put more in the bullish camp, just to let you guys know. Next one we're going to do is our Stochastic RSI. And with our stock RSI, right now, guys, we are at 72 and 70. So I put this as more bearish because we are in that overbought condition. And remember, this is on the one-day chart, but we have not got this downward cross yet. So if we start to have this downward cross on the 1 day, guys, and it starts dropping pretty hard, pretty fast like we had over here, then we can move to the downside pretty quick. But sometimes you can have those false ones where you'll come down through a little bit, kiss a little bit, and then you'll start bouncing back up. So I do want to pay attention to that. But right now I'm going to put that in the bearish camp just because we are in those overbought conditions and we potentially have a bearish cross taking place. And if you start moving this into like the 12-hour, you can see, guys, how it's getting real tight up top here, and we're at 94 and 95 there. So that is something we want to pay attention to. And here's a better view of those lower highs and lower lows that we're looking at. Okay, so just be aware of that. So far we have the AO is bullish, we have the Stochastic is bearish, and the next one we're going to go to is our RSI. And with our relative strength index, guys, we are at 42 right now. So basically what I put was more neutral. We're in neutral territory. We could push down, we could push up. Basically we go anywhere we want to go. We have plenty of room to the upside. We have plenty of room to the downside. As we know, we can get as low as, 20, 15 on the RSI here. We've been even lower than that before in some instances, where we've gotten down roughly to around like 17, 14, that area. So it can get really overextended to the upside and the downside. To the upside, we've seen it like over here, guys, where we're up in 92, 93. So things can get really crazy in this space, and that's why I said really use those stop losses. They can pay off for you. So what I also want to look at here is this trend line. It's a potential trend line break right there. It kind of looks like we're potentially going to back test it here a little bit, and we're going to see if we either get a bounce off it or if we're going to fall back down through it again. So right now on the RSI, we're going to look a little bit more neutral, and then we're going to go out to our MACD. And with the MACD, I had this in the bullish camp, because you can see right here the histogram, how the bars are getting smaller. We're starting to tick to that upside. We want to get to that positive, guys. We have not been in the positive on the MACD since June 19th, 2019. We've been in the negative down here. Remember, sometimes you can have these little false ones where you start to move up and then you just drop back down, but we want to see this MACD cross here take place with a continuous move to the upside. So right now the MACD is a little bit more bullish. So that's what I'm saying. We're throwing a lot of mixed signals here. Our moving averages, we have 3 moving averages, that 20 EMA, that 50 moving average, that 100-day moving average acting as overhead resistance. We have the 200-day moving average acting as support. We have the red trend line acting as support right now, while we have this white trend line acting as overhead resistance. So right now we're truly, guys, kind of just in like that neutral territory where we're waiting to see what Litecoin's going to do. If Litecoin wants to break out through that white trend line, or if Litecoin wants to start falling back down through this red trend line. And for the people who are still here, I really want to emphasize this to you, okay? The power of trend line breaks. I've been just harping on this. Take a look here. So our price range, when we broke out of this one right here, right? We went all the way up 94% from this breakout right there of that teal trend line. Guys, that's 94%. Most huge markets won't even move 20% in a year, and this happened in the matter of a few months. So that's why we need to trade these things, because look what happened after it made 94%. Look how far it basically gave everything back up. So if you weren't trading that, you know, you missed out on all this. Say you were in the move from down here and you wrote all this down and you wrote all the way back down here. It's basically eliminated this entire move with how much we've fallen down. Okay, so that's a trend line break to the upside. Now take a look at the trend line break to the downside. So we broke right here and we ended up falling to those tweezer bottoms roughly about 37%. So this trend line break, and if you guys go back about 3 weeks or so, you can see I was talking about this trend line break and how significant it was, and to really watch it and pay attention to it. So I hope people did have those stop losses and then they protected themselves. And what happened is when you have that stop loss in, you're stopped out, and then you can start looking for better opportunities to be able to buy more. And that's the name of the game, guys. The name of the game is accumulation. So right now our awesome indicator is bullish, our stock is bearish, our RSI is neutral, and our MACD is bullish. So right now it's just really being patient and waiting to see what's going to go on with these candles, if they're going to continue to get really small and we're going to have this fight here, and eventually if we're going to have that nice clean break to the upside, or if it's going to be another leg down to the downside. So let me know down below what you guys think. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I appreciate you all being here with me today. If you like me writing those off to the right there, those indicators, please let me know down below, guys. I appreciate you. Take care.